Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 458. If you're joining me live, please say hello. I'll wait a few seconds before beginning for people to come over from the pre-chat and get their notifications. I have a baby doll in my lap this morning, so I have to warn you, we may have some jealous, snuggly kitties today. Hi, Annette and Christy. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Judy. Hi, Grandma or Grammy. Hi, Padilla. I can't see the first part. Hi, Lily. Thanks for joining live. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Judy. Hi, Melissa and Grace and Carrie. Carol. Hi, Pamela and Christine. Ivalise. Thanks, Grace. I couldn't see it before. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Josie. So glad so many of you could join me this morning. Hi, Joe. Hi, Marcia and Judy. So if you watched last night's podcast, hi, Jane and Karen. All right, looks like we've got lots of people joining us this morning. That's wonderful. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 458, and we're here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. The sun's rising. It's very calm out here this morning. If you watched the podcast last night, you saw that we blocked the baby blanket last night. And if you didn't get a chance to watch that, I highly recommend going back and watching last night's episode, because I went over how to wash and soak, how to wring out the excess water. Great tips on that. And then I showed you how to use blocking wires. So many of you have never used blocking wires before, and this was a super simple project for using blocking wires. And we'll continue to do more blocking videos because they're so helpful for so many people, and they're really easy. So once you see them, you'll realize that it's that much easier to wash and block and take care of your handmade items. After you spend so much time making your items, I really love to be able to tell people how to take care of them afterwards, whether it's how to wash them, how to store them, or how to reshape and block them. So watch that podcast if you want to see that. This morning I will be unpinning and taking the wires out, and we'll get to see the finished blanket. And I made a matching hat for the baby last night. It's done in the same stitch pattern. When the pattern's released, you'll get both patterns. So what I did was start from the center of the blanket for the crown and made an increasing crown, and then went back to one of the other charts for the stitch pattern that's worked even in rounds, not worked increasing out for the square, to do the sides of the hat. And then I did a variation on the ruffled border from the blanket. You know how we've been talking the last few days how there's different ways to do that type of ribbing and it gets different effects. Well, we used half double crochet through the back loop on every row for the ruffle on the blanket, and I used single crochet through the back loop only on the hat to give a more dense ribbing. And I did it in the same amount of increases, so you can see that because the stitch is so much shorter, it made it a lot less ruffled. It's a little more straight. And I'm going to use one of my heavier yarns, probably Be So Tender, the number 4 worsted weight organic cotton. Probably going to use that in a larger hook to make a Mommy and Me version of the hat. Thinking about doing it in a different color, and then maybe taking some of the leftover color of this layette and making tiny little cluster of flowers right here, so that the mommy hat and the baby outfit kind of go together still. And if you don't have a baby and you just make the adult version, you can skip the flowers or you can add the flowers. Either way, I think flowers look really cute on hats, especially if you add beads to them. But I'm not going to make it matchy-matchy in color. I want to use a thicker yarn to get a larger gauge to make the adult hat pattern, and then from there there'll just be the option of adding the flowers if you want, and you could do that in any color. It doesn't have to match this per se, but I just thought it would be fun to, as the pattern to make it thematic like that. So that one's next. And like I said last night, I know a lot of people are anxious for this pattern, and I've got lots of wonderful value add stuff to add to this pattern that you've never seen added to one of my patterns before. So excited to share it with you. And I'm close to finishing it, but it's not quite done. And it will be worth the extra weight, I promise, because you're going to learn so many different ways to use this stitch pattern. Having said that, the single crochet version of this type of tutorial format is almost done, and I will talk more about it tomorrow because I should have it totally done by tomorrow, and I can't wait to show you how much I'm going to be able to teach you in these downloads. They're going to be absolutely empowering for you, whether you want to learn more about designing or you just like to work without a pattern yourself. They're going to teach you so much about just being able to sit down and create without having to follow along on something. So I'm really excited about this new series. So that will be tomorrow. So in the meantime, my lotion did not soak in today, and it's hot, so I am already sweating. Oh well. I think it's time to do our unblocking, or not unblocking, unpinning. I'll wait a second, see if there's any questions first, and then we'll move on to unpinning the blanket. So I'll be able to do photography for the blanket and the baby hat today at least, and that'll be good. Actually, I should probably wait till the mommy hat's done. All right, it might be, well, I'll do some photos with this today, and then have to do one last photo when the mommy hat's done. All right, but if there's any questions about what we've talked about so far, I will hold off a second. Annette, the new series is going to be PDF downloads on my website. And we'll obviously talk about it here on YouTube, and I will be explaining it here on YouTube, and you're going to get tons and tons of value add information here on the podcast. I'll be walking you through lots of it here, but it's a PDF download. The sun is so bright, I can't believe I can hardly see. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions, so let me get my tools out. So I've got my, all right, and for those of you that didn't watch last night, all of the tools that I'm using here for blocking, the mats, the wires, and the pins, you can find all of these on my YouTube or my Amazon shop if you don't already own them. These are rust-proof T-pins. Oh shoot! This tube has all my blocking wires in it. Did I save that? Dang, that was pretty good. So in the tube you get a bunch of blocking wires. Most of them are 36 inches long, I believe. So like on super long pieces, you would line your wires up side by side. And I showed you how to do that when we blocked the Zen scarves. Remember those? Remember the striped Zen scarves? Did I grab my pin cushion? I did. All right, so I'm going to take my pins out first, and then I'll slide my wires out after that. I find that I use so many less pins when I use blocking wires because you can use the leverage of the pins to do most of the work. I want to get all of these out first. Get the pins out of the way. I can spend upwards of an hour pinning a piece out without blocking wires. So you may notice last night, I think we did this in about 20 minutes total, which was just a huge, huge time saver compared to doing it manually. And the other thing is, last night we talked a lot about how sometimes it can be difficult to stay symmetrical when you're pinning something out, and that taking an overhead shot of your project will help you to see if it's symmetrical or not. And the blocking wires help with that a lot. All right, here we go, taking the pins out. time for the reveal. Oh, it's turned out so pretty. You may have noticed that it was exceptionally ruffled before we washed it. And so when you make this, don't forget to remember that, because it's not going to look completely flattened out like this until it reacts with water. Okay, are we ready? Look at this beautiful blanket. How gorgeous did that turn out? So, so pretty. Take my mats down now. You can buy these on my Amazon shop too. I love these. These are big. These are really big ones. These are 2-foot square. You can buy them in different configurations. I think I bought a 12-pack, maybe a 16-pack. I can't remember. I know I bought a decent amount because I wanted to be able to block more than one thing at a time. The blanket's still a little bit damp, so I'm going to lay it flat to dry still today. But how beautiful did that turn out in that ruffled border? Let's wrap the baby in it real quick. Make sure this is clean. All right, I'm going to lay the baby in there. See how those beautiful ruffles wrap up the baby. Look at that. How cutie is that? Oh my goodness. The blanket and then the matching hat on the baby. Oh my gosh, just melts my heart. Oh, you know what? We can set the baby up here and sit next to me. If I put my jar back on the table like that, and then we can set the baby up. The beauty of a doll instead of a real baby, right? She can just sit there and be cute and not wiggle or move. So cute. I love how it turned out. All right. Does anybody have, yeah, it'd make a beautiful christening blanket. I bet. The smell is wonderful. Yes. Yes, she's ready for the party for sure. Oh yeah, it would be a beautiful tablecloth as well. I agree. It'd be a beautiful shawl as well. And that's one of the things that if you did this in a lace weight yarn and kept going on your square and made it larger, and then did your ribbing around the border, you could actually make it a large lace square shawl. Wouldn't that be beautiful? I used, for the baby projects, I used Be So Baby yarn, which is my number 3 DK weight 100% milk fiber yarn. But if you did this, for a shawl, you could use Be So Fine yarn or Be So Fine bling. You could even use Be So Sporty yarn. You could use Be So Lush. Any of the lighter weight yarns would make an exquisite lace shawl. And I would just, you know, once you get established in that growing square chart, you would just work more rounds to get the size that you wanted and then add your ruffled border after that. But this could easily be worked as a square lace shawl. That would be absolutely gorgeous. And then you could fold it in half on the diagonal and have a tiered ruffled border. Wouldn't that be pretty? Yes, this would make a beautiful gift. Someone mentioned christening gift or a baby shower gift or a baby birth gift. Someone also asked if I made this for a gift. No, I did not. I made this for a new set of patterns. Does anybody have any other questions? Great questions so far. Hey, Becker. Someone has a question about my book, 80 Handmade Gifts. I don't know what the question is, though. I'll wait and see if there's a question. I saw it referenced, but I don't know. No, the blanket won't have to be blocked after every washing. You'll want to lay it flat to dry, maybe reshape it, but no, the yarn stretched out the way it needed to after the first washing. Is there a pattern for the vase? No, I don't believe there is a pattern for the vase yet. Could work on that. It's just little flowers and a chain mesh. It's actually a lot simpler than it looks. Move the baby out of the way. So if you take the flowers out of there, it's like a chain that goes around the whole neck, and then I increased the chain mesh So maybe start with a chain 7 around the first round, then chain 9, then chain 11, so that it grew like as a sweater yoke. And then after that, I added fringe at the bottom and added a real simple flower to the top. Very simple. Thanks, Pamela. I love this one. I got this jar at Marshall's on clearance one time. I think I got the jar for like $6, and I was like, I couldn't leave the home with someone asked a question about the Owen baby blanket. It's a pattern available on my website. There isn't a pattern for the lamp. Nope, not yet. Really simple to do though. We could do a tutorial on the podcast one day. It's that quick. Thanks, Becky. Ah, I have tea. Let me go grab my tea. All right, lots of people would like to make this. Yeah, it's super simple. In fact, then if you just go to Marshall's and pick up any vase that's on clearance, what you could end up doing is making a quick last-minute gift out of it. In fact, that's what I'll do, since I used Be So Wild yarn for this one, which I don't sell anymore. What I'll do is go and pick up another vase or another couple vases at Marshall's so that I can show you. I'll pick up a couple of different sizes too, so I can show you how you would modify this, because the trick to writing a pattern for something like this is I can't give you access to this vase in this size. So to write a pattern for something like this, I'll have to teach you the concept of what you're doing. So understanding, you have to make your own judgment for the size that you make the original neck. Like, let's say that this is a sweater yoke. There's an original neck portion that you need to do to get it over the top, but it needs to be more narrow here than here so that it stays on the shoulders and drapes down the body, right? Do you see where I'm going with that? So, because I know a lot of you are familiar with sweaters or ponchos, but not familiar with covering a vase. So it's the same kind of concept. We have to start little and increase out, but it's done super, super simple. So, okay, you've given me inspiration, and like I need an inspiration to go look at clearance at Marshall's for vases, right? But I will do that one day this week, and as soon as I do, we will do a tutorial on how to do this, not only for this, what I did on this vase, but how to modify it for other shapes. The crochet candle holders, do I sell the blank holders? If you go to the resource pages for 80 handmade gifts on my website, I do have links for where to buy them on my Amazon shop. Oh, the Owen baby blanket, what did the mom say? She loved it. She is so excited about the Owen baby blanket. She is overwhelmed with how beautiful she thinks it is. And Owen will be coming home from the hospital in the blanket. So really happy that she's so excited. So many comments, I couldn't read any of them. So if you want to repeat any of them, I'll pause for a second. I've gotten so many compliments on my sunset travel mug and the new bag and stuff. Oh yeah, where's the bag? So the sunset photo that I took for the new issue of the Create, Share, Inspire notebook, the purple and gold sunset, I uploaded that to my Redbubble shop, and I've been getting so many compliments on my tote bags and my travel mug. Which reminds me, remember what I said I was going to work on as soon as I finish the baby blanket? What do I get to work on next? I have this amazing sunset chiffon scarf that is going to be transformed into a beach sarong for myself. If you would like to convert this into any of the patterns that we've done with crochet on edging, you absolutely could. But what I plan on doing is putting some ties on these two corners here so that it's long enough to be this type of sarong. You see, on my particular frame, someone more petite than me, this would work already. But on my particular frame, it's just not quite long enough to wrap around my neck and tie. So I'm going to add some ties on here with crochet and Be So Fine yarn in colorway Raven. And then I'm going to add a beaded fringe to the end of the ties. Very excited to do that. And I told myself, I promised myself that I would make the time to do it as soon as the baby blanket is done. And I just realized, yay, it's that time. But I do have an awful lot of work on my plate right now. So yes, I'll be demoing that too, for sure. Absolutely. Oh, I don't know how you couldn't order that, Christine. I am so in love with that scarf. It's so beautiful. Oh yeah, this does look nice next to the lamp. You're right. Redbubble's coming out with some new products too. We're gonna have, well, they have the fleece blankets, which I love. I put my sunset fleece blanket on my bed. They're coming out with some cotton tote bags, and they're also coming out with some water bottles soon too. And I believe bath mats and shower curtains. That's gonna be really cool. That sunset would be gorgeous as a shower curtain, wouldn't it? I'd really like to see how a photograph looks on the bath mat too. I think that would be really pretty. Joe's getting the fleece blankets. Yeah, the fleece blankets are amazing. Do we have time? I could go run and grab mine. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it because I can't believe how beautiful it is. This is the largest size that I bought, so there are two other sizes as well. So if this looks too big for you, you know, there are other sizes, but I cannot believe how well a photograph transferred to a fleece blanket. It's just so realistic. I love it. Look at how much the sunset glows. But I mean, even on the scarf, I'm blown away at how the scarf transferred a photograph too. They're just so incredibly beautiful. I wonder if the lighting's, I wonder if you can see this so well in the lighting. In person, it's just jaw-dropping to see a photograph on a sheer scarf. I mean, look at from front to back. I mean, it's just amazing. I never thought to upload my photography there. I've only thought to upload my hand-drawn artwork, and there will be more photography there for sure, because I really, really love how it's translating onto the products. It's just, I don't know, I don't even see this stuff in stores. Maybe you do. Maybe I don't shop that much, but never seen anything like that in a store, so I'm just a little dazzled by it. Okay, now if you need help finding anything we talked about today, all of the links are in the video description. So my Amazon shop is down there, my Redbubble shop is down there, my website is listed down there. Left is right crochet. Oh, hi, good morning. All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions, but I should be patient and wait a second, so I'll wait. Lynn, do I still have my crochet hooks in my shop? Yes, the crochet hooks are available on my website shop. So the shop on my website has 3 different sections. There's yarn, there's books, and there's accessories. In the accessory shop is where you can find the crochet hooks. Barbara, you're not gonna believe what camera I used for this photo. And as a photographer myself, I don't know how I got away with it. I do know how to do post-processing to get the file size correct in Photoshop, but I have to tell you, this particular photograph was taken on my iPhone. I did not even use a professional photo. I've converted this into a 5-foot by 6-foot canvas that sits on the wall in my living room, and it is crystal clear and perfect. I converted it into this giant blanket, and it is crystal clear and perfect. Well, no, it's not crystal clear on there. It's a little, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but it's beautiful, but it's the way it's supposed to be on a blanket. But it is, I can't believe that I did that on an iPhone. In fact, other photographers probably wouldn't even believe me. But I happen to know a lot about post-processing on Photoshop nowadays, though. I've done a lot of homework and a lot of studying in online classes in Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign over the last couple of years, and it's really grown my graphic design game for sure. So those of you, I know a lot of you always ask how I make my crochet charts. I make those in Adobe Illustrator, and I've gotten just so much better the more I practice. And I've got so many charts coming for you soon. Yeah, iPhone cameras have come a long way, Lily. I still have professional cameras, but it's amazing how infrequently I pull out a professional camera for the type of work that I do. Obviously, there is still a use for professional cameras, and lots of amazing photographers out there know how to use professional cameras. I'm not a professional photographer, but I sure love being an amateur so much. There's all sorts of places you can take online classes for learning stuff like that. Okay, let's see. All right, so if anybody would like to pick a number between 1 and 5, we will pick a quote from one of the first 5 issues of the Create, Share, Inspire notebook. You can find all 6 issues in my website shop or on Amazon all over the world. I see a number 3 from Carol. This is the photo where I ate takeout Cuban food on the beach all by myself one night and had such a ball doing it. I love remembering the stories from all of the photos. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is from Lucius Annaeus Seneca. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Absolutely. The better we can get at staying in the moment, the healthier and happier we will be, right? It's something to, until you get good at it, you have to practice, and until you remember to practice, you have to remember to do it. So anytime you can remember and get gentle reminders to stay in the present moment, it's great. And the more you do it and the more you can build habits, the more strong you become at it. And seriously, the more time you can spend in the present moment, just the stronger and more prepared you are for the future as well. That's what I find. It not only brings you peace, but it does bring you a more preparedness for being able to handle the opportunities that come to you. So anytime I can stop worrying about the future and focus on the present, when the decision-making time comes up where I have to make a choice about the future, I find that I am more prepared for it as well. So I think it's just such a more complex thing than it sounds like, but the blind faith is to just do it. And once you do it, you find that it works so well for so many different things. So thank you, Lucius Annaeus Seneca. We can always use a wonderful and gentle reminder to stay in the present moment. So let's read it one more time. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy morning to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and the show and tell, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.